Hello, I'm Bernard Hickey from interest.co.nz and welcome to a special investing report brought to you in association with Bank of New Zealand. Today I want to have a look at the future of South Canterbury Finance and its owner Alan Hubbard. Their futures are limited in their current form. Over the next 48 to 72 hours, South Canterbury Finance faces a strong likelihood of being put into receivership. That's unless the government decides to stump up yet more money to back a bailout or a big investment of new money by another investor. A couple of $100 million in fresh capital is needed for South Canterbury Finance because, frankly, it's almost run out of cash. As at the 23rd of August, South Canterbury Finance had just over $10 million in cash. That's enough to keep it going for a week, maybe 2 weeks, given the lack of new investment coming in from existing debenture investors. Remember, it was downgraded to double C by Standard & Poor's, and we've seen news in the last few days that Alan Hubbard, the owner of South Canterbury Finance, faces real questions about his performance and about his running of ARE Securities and Hubbard Funds Management. The question for the government is, can it allow South Canterbury Finance to fail? Is it too big to fail? Because the failure of South Canterbury Finance would have a huge impact on the South Island rural economy. Many farmers, small businesses are loaned money by South Canterbury Finance. If a receiver was appointed, they'd have to repay those loans, some of which are not performing at the moment. There are also many businesses connected to South Canterbury Finance. We've got Scales Corporation, the fruit packaging and exporting business. We've got HNZ, the helicopters company, New Zealand's biggest, that leases helicopters to tourism operators, oil and gas drillers, these sorts of things. And then we have South Canterbury Finance's third holding in Dairy Holdings, New Zealand's largest dairying company. It produces about 1% of Fonterra's supply. There are 72 farms, tens of thousands of cows, and hundreds of workers involved. This really would be a bloody body blow for the South Island economy. But you do have to ask, should the government pump more money in to allow this zombie finance company to keep staggering along? And does South Canterbury Finance have a future beyond the end of the current deposit guarantee scheme at the end of next year? If it does have a future, it would have to do several things, all of which I think are unlikely. It would have to get back some sort of investment-grade credit rating. Remember, it's at double C at the moment. It would need multiple notch upgrades. It would need hundreds of millions of dollars in fresh capital from someone not associated with Alan Hubbard. Alan Hubbard would have to be cleared. And at the moment, the Serious Fraud Office is still investigating what it calls a complex intermingling of his affairs. I think it's extremely unlikely South Canterbury Finance would survive beyond the end of the deposit guarantee scheme at the end of next year. To give it the idea that it can survive is dangerous. Remember, it's employing extra people, making new loans, trying to build a brand which unfortunately now is damaged beyond repair. The government should put South Canterbury Finance into receivership. Obviously, it's not the one pulling the trigger. The trustee will do that. But the government's decision about whether to pump more money into South Canterbury or not will be made over the next couple of days. The key issue for some people is whether this will be too much of a shock to New Zealand's fiscal position. Remember, about $1.7 billion would have to be paid out in short order. Would this affect New Zealand's credit rating, its sovereign credit rating? Personally, I don't think so. Remember, the government has already provisioned almost $900 million for losses on finance companies, and most of that is involved with South Canterbury Finance. There we have it, a special investing report brought to you in association with the Bank of New Zealand. And again, these are my personal views.